From Del Rio, Texas, Rob Wade. And Robert Garza. Two guys who dive. This episode of Two Guys Who Dive, recorded live, 26 January 2013. Episode 52, Lend a Helping Fin. And welcome once again to another episode of Two Guys Who Dive. I'm your host, Rob Wade, and I'm with
Robert Garza.
And we're back again for another exciting week. From another exciting week.
Yes.
Of course, for me, it was a little bit shorter week because we had Martin Luther King holiday on Monday. So us sleazy federal workers got the day off.
Must be nice. I had to work.
Yeah. So anything exciting happened during that day? Or
No. Everything was real quiet. I mean, we didn't have kids, so that was
that
nice.
helps make it quiet.
Yeah.
Although some of the teachers can get a little rowdy.
Yeah, but, honestly, I did not even see any. If I saw 3,
Really?
that was a lot. Yeah.
So how'd they get away with that? What, didn't you say it was like a in-service day or
It
something
was a
like
work
that?
day, but
Yeah.
I didn't see anybody.
Wow.
They must have been hiding. They were hiding.
Well, there's plenty of places to hide, right?
Oh, absolutely, especially at the high school. But
Wow.
no, it was good. It was a good day. It made it for a short week.
Right.
Dealing with the kids one less day is just.
Oh, yeah,
awesome.
Absolutely. It's like a little mini vacation, right? Right.
Yeah, I'd rather work with the students, and we can give the administrators a day off.
Really?
Yeah, absolutely.
That's pretty good.
Yeah, I'll take on the kids by myself. I'll do that.
Wow. Well, it was, of course, I do IT stuff, and actually I'm doing some Lean Six Sigma work right now. We're trying to improve some processes there at the base to do with aircraft maintenance, things like that. It's one of those cases where as the budgets shrink and anticipation of even further shrinkage of funding for all of the government, not just DOD, but we're doing some lean work trying to figure out how we can. It's really not a case anymore of doing more with less. It's doing what we need to do with what we have, which seems to be shrinking. It's so, we're trying to improve some of our processes. So, that's stuff that I really enjoy. I sink my teeth into the Lean Six Sigma stuff. And since most of my work is really just doing IT, network admin and all that kind of stuff, which we got some interesting little challenges with that going on. But anytime somebody comes to me with a problem, say, hey, we need to make this leaned out, find some efficiencies. I'm like, yeah, I'm all about that as a taxpayer, especially. So working on one of those projects, and it's getting pretty high visibility because we've got whatever we come up with here may actually get implemented at other bases. So it's kind of neat.
So it's good.
Yeah. So what was your week like? What else did you have going on? Anything?
No, it was just a quiet week. No excitement. Yeah. Just a good week.
And there we go. Our special appearance by Graza. You're gonna talk to the folks. You're gonna no. Not gonna say anything. No. Yeah.
There you go.
There we go. Here they all got their nails clipped today, which was fun. So now instead of hearing the tick, 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 tick across the tile, which is what most of our house is covered in now, now it's more just the pad.
Yeah.
Every once in a while, if they scramble, then they dig in or they try to dig in. So it's a little bit quieter. But yeah, they had some serious hoof daggers going on.
Oh, yeah.
There's nothing worse. They like to, jump on us when we get home. And so there's nothing worse when they're trying to get a hold of you and they will dig their little claws in, man, and they just do a number on the old skin, which is not good.
So speaking about dogs, I just wanted to let people know about that cook-off that's going on. You heard about that?
No.
It's
Please, Robert, tell us about this cook-off that's coming up.
There's they do an annual cook-off.
But it's not actually dogs.
No.
It is.
And it's food.
Hot dogs.
It's food. It's food.
Oh.
But it's been put on for, I guess, a couple of years now.
Right.
With it's been funded by Ram Country.
Oh.
Nick, I don't know if I'm saying his last name correct, Curry.
Yeah, Curry.
Is normally sponsors the event. People come in from out of town. It's the prize money is good and stuff like that. But this year, apparently, he's donating all of the proceeds from that cook-off for the Friends of the Pets Wish.
Oh, that is awesome.
He is also donating a building or one of his offices that he owns from the buildings that he owns downtown.
Yeah, because he's a developer.
Yeah, he is donating one of the, I guess, either a space or something in one of his buildings for a Pets Wish.
Wow.
Yeah.
So when is this cook-off?
I believe it's in a month or two. I think it's in 2 months.
Now, is this the one that
takes place all the way like behind next to Walmart?
That I thought looked like a refugee camp.
Yeah, it looks like a big.
I thought it was a big either Woodstock or a refugee camp.
For a minute there, I thought Guantanamo Bay got overpopulated.
We are Guantanamo 2.
Yeah. Okay. Well, all of that is all the money that he's going to make from that is going to go to a Pet's Wish.
Okay, so how does that work? I watched it from I watched it. I caught glimpses of it from the Walmart parking lot while, shopping and stuff. But so how does that work as far as the general public?
Honestly, I have no idea. I've never been to it. I've just kind of heard about it. Yeah. I do have a colleague of mine that does participate in the cook-off.
Uh-huh.
And does compete for the prize money, but I don't really know how it works. What I'll do is now that we bring this up, when I see him on Monday, I'll get some information. So for next week's podcast, I'll have some info for that.
That's good.
So share with the public out there.
Yeah, I'm down with food. I do like, especially that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
Because I had no idea that's what that was last year. I really thought it was just a drinking party.
Yeah. Well, I knew what it was, and when I saw the Ram Dodge pickup trucks out there, I kind of figured, it was being sponsored by Dodge, or what is it, Ram Country. Yeah. So, but I think that's awesome, and it's been going all over Facebook about a Pet's Wish and that he's donating.
Yeah, I definitely am a fan of Pet's Wish and Friends of
Del Rio
Animals. Mm-hmm. As a matter of fact, one of the ladies who works with that group is also our church accountant.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, she does our books. So
she cooks the books.
No, she does not cook the books. In fact, she does everything she can to make sure that there's nothing that even approaches that. So, but yeah, that's cool. Of course, we're big animal lovers anyway. So, yeah, and. So, yeah, if you're in the Del Rio area, we'll keep up some information. We'll include it on the podcasts, and hope you all can support something like that because that is worthwhile.
Yeah, absolutely. I'll definitely try to get some information. I'm not sure if there's tickets you got to buy. I know that if there's somebody watching, they probably have more information. Yeah. But I will get some info on this and see what we can do.
Yeah, we can check. Nobody's in the chat room to comment on that. Darn. So if you happen to be watching the podcast and you know anything about this, jump on our chat room at ustream.tv and let us know because we'll pass that on live on the podcast. And then, of course, it'll be recorded for all posterity and future future viewing. Exactly.
Yeah, and I've dealt with the Friends of Del Rio Animals, but this is totally something new. So I think it's great.
Yeah, as a matter of fact, several podcasts ago, we threw some pictures up from the little pet contest, dog contest dress up that they had as part that Del Rio Friends of Animals had for the big craft fair that we have downtown, and there were some just great pictures. So yeah, it's just a great. As a matter of fact, I bought a T-shirt and everything. So yeah, where is that darn thing? I wore it exactly twice, and I need to find it again. So I can
the one from Friends of Dover Animals.
Yeah,
I had one. It had little paws on it.
Oh yeah, so they had a number of really good
of,
ones. Yeah. So yeah, I like to support causes like that because one of my pet peeves is one of my pet peeves is the neglect or mistreatment of animals. Too many times I walk around, I drive around, and I'll see people that have their animals chained on a short chain to a fence. I'm like, if you're going to own a dog that you're going to keep outside most of the time, get a fence. Put a fence up. I'm not a fan of domesticated dogs being left outside all the time anyway. I mean, we absolutely pamper our dogs. If you couldn't tell from the fact that they make frequent appearances on the podcast. But the fact is, wow, look at we're just watching how much my CPU is getting killed by the podcast here. Suddenly it jumped up to 100%. Don't know why, but it's making it interesting. But yeah, I drive around, I see dogs that are left out like that, or I really have to check myself when I see stray animals, because I'm like, where are the owners of these dogs? I just want to beat them. Not a fan, but.
Well, luckily for us, there are people out there that are trying to do good with animals, and they're out there doing their thing. So that's awesome.
That is good. So okay, so one of the things that I have been tweeting on this week and posting on is something that's very near and dear to us, because this is what we're doing right now, and that's podcasting.
That's correct.
There is a company called Personal Audio, LLC, that is evidently they sued Apple for $8 million and won a couple years ago, because they lay claim to, and evidently a jury found in favor of them, that they own the intellectual property rights to the basic process of podcasting. The way it was referred to in the lawsuit was a system for disseminating media content representing episodes in a serialized sequence. So most of your podcasting is done with that meme. What, are you running away? So, and of course, our podcast, as are so many out there in various aggregators, are done in that form. They're a serialized, episodic type deal.
Episodic. I like that.
Episodic. It's like waxing quixotic, which is weird because we pronounce that quixotic, but it's from the name Don Quixote. Why don't we say quixotic? Quixotic. And we say quixotic. Chasing after windmills, basically. So that's what that refers to. So anyway, so now this Personal Audio LLC is suing Adam Carolla and How Stuff Works. I think basically they're just going to start expanding their attacks. I'm wondering at what point that they're going to go after like YouTube and Vimeo and Ustream and people who produce the content, people who store the content.
It's going to get to the point. Well, aside from YouTube, I mean, how does that, for example, like us now,
right?
How is that going to affect the person who has, a small but syndicated podcasting show?
We haven't reached syndication.
Well, no, but you know what I mean. I mean, you listen,
right?
You yourself listen to a lot of them.
Yeah, I do.
And how is that going to affect those that have? Yes, they have sponsorship and things like that, but
I think it can have a very, very quick chilling effect, because basically, I don't see how you could do any podcast if that gets judged by panel or judges, whatever. if that gets judged as broadly as it sounds like it's beginning to be interpreted, I don't see that anybody who podcasts more than one thing. In other words, you could do a one and done. Mm-hmm. And I don't think, because I kind of looked through the actual patent.
Okay.
Followed links and everything and actually saw the patent. And it's very involved. And personally, this is back in the 90s. So it really, here's the problem I have with this. The patent was really written toward the design of something like an iPod, or in a car. They even reference a device. The idea being that you would be able to do kind of voice commands or other types of controls that basically allow you to select and skip through and then listen to media content, because it mostly specified audio.
Oh, okay.
But when you slide in the word media, that opens the door. It makes it broader. But the idea that they were describing in this patent really was focusing on either a device that you carried around, which would be like an iPod, or that you had in your car. So it'd be something you could like XM radio or something, where you could voice control or just very simple commands skip around to content. Would be have a text-based index, so you could see what the title is, listen to a blurb, and then decide to skip to the next one, in the serial, in the episodes, whatever. Mm-hmm. Which is all well and good, but I thought, okay, as soon as they went after Adam Carolla and how stuff works, I thought this is going to open up, I think, a can of worms. And so I noticed that a number of different podcasts, like Leo Laporte, mm-hmm. Have been commenting on that, and they're kind of like, maybe we should think about, as a podcasting community, circling the wagons and helping out Adam Carolla and how stuff works, and basically setting up some sort of a defense that says, okay, you can take this to the extreme where it just puts everybody in a place where everybody has to pay some sort of a licensing fee just to podcast, which would absolutely kill us, especially since we have no sponsors.
Right.
I'm funding this out of, Tara and I are basically paying for this whole thing. So the cost of the internet and the cost of the software and all of this is out of pocket.
Right.
And I just don't see that we would keep doing this if we end up having to pay some sort of licensing fee.
I think it's stupid, honestly. I mean,
I am not at all against intellectual property rights.
No.
I believe that a lot of that violation goes on.
No, yeah, and I'm not saying I'm not definitely supporting stealing. But I just think that, I mean, I think it's funny, but at the same time, it's all about the money.
Yeah.
I mean, you create something, and you have a corporation that was once valued the best company, the most valuable company, because it got knocked off. Apple, they're making $20 billion.
Yeah.
They're gonna go after the money.
Right.
Adam Carolla, he's a well-known person, and I'm sure he's got sponsorship that.
Yeah, his I forget what the name of his actual company is that he does does a number of podcasting type stuff, but it is a pretty lucrative.
I mean, there's money out there to be made, and they're making it, so they want a piece of it. I mean, it's obvious about that.
And like I said, I don't have a problem with that, but when it gets so liberally interpreted that any use of podcasting, just because there's really nothing other than we record this while we're doing it live and we make it available. Mm-hmm. YouTube, it becomes, for all intents and purposes, the aggregator. We don't even actually record this with Ustream, which for a fee you can do that, and they could actually go after them. But by the way, XM was one of the ones that they went after.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. But and so they've licensed it. But just the mere fact that you record multiple podcasts with a continuing theme could potentially get you in trouble. So we're going to be following this very closely to see if we all get screwed out of what should be free content. I mean, that's their thing. What scares me is somebody like this, and I'm sorry, even though this is a Texas company, I think they shame Texas by being this stupid about it. But the danger that I see is a company that has a license like that is very easily super broadly interpreted would mean that they could ultimately decide who can do a podcast and who can't, because they would choose to, I'm sorry, I will not let you purchase a license to do this. Because eventually, if this gets interpreted the way I think it will be, or where I'm afraid it will be, is they'll have money hand over fist because everybody that still wants to do podcasting will pay it.
Yeah.
Okay. So that means that if you are doing a podcast that they disagree with, if they happen to be
watching,
yeah, exactly,
or listening,
they could decide, I don't want to license you to do that podcast, and so you're stuck. So they can create a kind of censorship by denial of license, or making the license so expensive that the average mom and pop type, the home podcasters like us would not be able to do it.
And I don't see that happening. I see it being a part. If anything's worth doing it, they're doing it for money. So if they, for example, if they decide, let's go ahead and license, a podcast show,
right,
or whatever the case may be, I'm more than sure that it's going to get down to, the money. So
right.
I would be as like, well, if I'm going to start charging for podcasts, there's so many people doing it. Let's make it affordable for them, because we don't want to lose them. They're going to be our customers. So let's.
Yeah, but I just can't see continuing if I have to pay a monthly fee to do this. It already costs for the internet service and for the software, because it's licensed. It's not an actual purchase. It's like a 2-year license. But so I mean, we'll definitely be following this to see where it goes, as will just about every podcaster out there. I'll probably continue to do some searches out on the web to see what some of these other more popular, well-known podcasters are doing in this. So that's interesting.
Mm-hmm.
So stay tuned, more to come.
Absolutely.
Okay, so the title of the episode this week was Lend a Helping Fin, and there's a reason for that. Saw a really cool report this week on some divers in Hawaii. We're doing a night dive. Yay! Doing a night dive. And they were filming a number of things. They were looking to get manta rays. Videotape manta rays. And a dolphin came around and basically asked for help. It had gotten a fish hook in its pectoral fin, and fishing line was all wrapped around its pectoral fin. And so the divers were able to, and this is in the wild, which just doesn't happen. And they allowed, this dolphin allowed the divers to remove, and this was, I'm going to show the video, was a long process to get this off and get the line off and remove the hook.
Wow.
It's amazing. So let me see if I can get this set up here to see how badly it taxes my system here. Switch to, there we go. All right. Here goes nothing.
Ooh.
That's right. Yeah, exactly. His dies a quick death. I love this. I think this is an important disclaimer too, because you normally do not want to interact with animals in the wild like this. Love the music in the background. This is awesome. I want to find out what this music is, because this is one of those things that I'll just put on my smartphone just so I can relax.
Well, once it starts up, I'll see if I can tag the music.
I love the background on this. Man, look at all those mantas. It's awesome. Here he says that the hook and all the line were removed after he spoke to the divers. So the original text on this would leave you thinking that the hook they weren't able to get the hook out, but
God, look at all those manas.
I know, wouldn't that be awesome?
Oh yeah,
live for dives like that. They've got some awesome lights going here too. Look at that. Troy put in the chat room, he said, can opens worms everywhere. Oh, commercial. I was trying to figure out how many divers they had on this. So it's unusual that a dolphin would hang this close to all this activity. So he goes over to the dolphin. And the dolphin kind of rolls over to him. See, he was trying to rub his pectoral fin against the rocks there. And they were trying to figure out why. Man, look at all those mantas. That is just gorgeous. See, this is why I want to get that awesome camera.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, so the dolphin was lingering around the divers. So then it comes up close. I mean, look at this.
He's showing it to him.
Yes, exactly.
It's like he's showing. Look at that.
So he's hanging there. This is a dolphin in the wild. This is not SeaWorld.
Yeah.
This is amazing. So he's trying to tear it loose or untie it. And he sees the hook in there.
He's showing that he needs scissors. He needs to cut.
Yep. So you can see the left pectoral fin is restricted in movement. It's not moving nearly as freely as the right side. So he gets his knife out. Which I'm glad he had a blunt edge.
Right.
Which you can get with the pointed edge or the blunt edge.
God.
Yeah, Troy says, here's where dive knife would be useful. And as if on cue, he pulls out one. Now, this is where I would have actually liked to, and I carry dive shears, or the EMT shears. That way they're blunt edge, but it's easier to cut through that. And you can actually cut right through the hook, too, to try and pull it out. So he ends up getting the little clips. He's got some clips there. See? It's got the actual scissored. This is amazing to me that the dolphin is just. Yes, get this thing off of me.
Allowing him to look through it, under the fin and everything.
Now it gets more amazing. Dolphin goes up for air. comes back down to finish. Okay, here he's making the disclaimer that they did get the hook out. Yeah, Troy says on the chat room, wow, what an experience. So glad they had a camera. No kidding. Of course, you know, you don't go down there looking for manta rays without having a camera. It just you just don't do it. But I tell you, you could dive your whole life and never have an experience as unique as this.
Nope.
And again, we later learn, of course, that they did get the hook out, so. Go ahead and let the credits roll too, because it's important to give honor to give honor to those whom honor is due. Love it. I was at the right place at the right time. Let's make better decisions. Yep, absolutely agree with that. Yep, Troy's right. He says, be a good steward. Our good friend Troy McGonigal, who sometimes gets to co-host on the show, and he's absolutely right. It's a tremendous responsibility to have access to do the things that we can do in this world, but it's so extremely important to make sure that we take care of things. You know, we have commented a number of times going out to the lake, going out to San Felipe Creek, how people just don't take care of our, you know, and I am not a tree hugger. I am absolutely not a tree hugger. I do not believe that we are supposed to be the lowest on the totem pole. We are supposed to be the top of the food chain, and we're supposed to be the top in stewardship. So that means that all of the resources here are given by God to us for our life, but we should be good stewards.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely. So that was great footage, and it just shows you how important it is to be careful about what you're doing. When you're doing things like fishing, be aware that it's not all about you and your little sport. You can endanger other life and people. How many times have we gone diving out there at Lake Amistad?
Yeah. You know, the only thing I have to say is, people, I know that you guys like to fish, and that's great.
Mm-hmm.
But please, I mean, you can't be that ignorant to where you can't read signs that say no fishing, and then we get there and you're still fishing.
Yep.
That stuff, Rob's gotten tangled a couple of times.
Yep.
I've gotten tangled a couple of times, and you know, it goes to our training to where you go and you remove your gear to cut yourself loose, you know, and you got to put it back on, that's fine, but it shouldn't happen.
Yeah,
you know, and I just think it's stupid, you know, really stupid. And then, you know, this got tangled on a dolphin. People die all the time from getting snagged and stuff because they panic, and you know, they have accidents sometimes, you know, which is why we always stress, you know, remain calm. But yeah, definitely I agree with Troy.
Yeah, Troy's right.
Troy's right. I mean,
you know, what's amazing to me is that a dolphin got impaled by a fish hook. You know, you kind of figure that goes with the territory if you're in a lake, especially if you're along a shore. But you don't kind of expect that. You would expect the nets You would see the net. The entanglement net's what happens a lot.
What I'm thinking there is just some crazy
Fool
saw a dolphin and tried to hook it.
Oh, see, they would never find the body. If I saw somebody doing that, they would just never find the body.
That's what I think.
Yeah. You're probably.
They saw it. They were probably deep sea fishing or something. Saw it, and they yanked on it. It got hooked, and it spun around. Wrapping the.
You're probably right.
And it bolted down, and I think that's what happened.
I think you might be right. You never know. So that was just fantastic footage. So let that be a lesson to you folks out there. Be considerate of what you're doing and what the unintended consequences might be. And it also is a good lesson on how to be prepared.
Right.
Be observant of what's going on. These divers, who, of course, they have tons of dives under their belt. These divers were there for the purpose of taking pictures and videotaping manta rays. Yeah. And a totally unscripted, unexpected event. A wild dolphin coming to help them. It runs into this. They run into this situation. So thankfully, they were prepared with everything that they needed in order to safely help this dolphin out. I carry a number of safety features along with me. I have my dive knife, which is a blunt edge. I have my dive shears. I have my signal sausage. I have my mirror. I have my whistle. I have all sorts of things ready just in case. You cannot be over prepared.
I agree.
Yeah. So
redundancy
is key. So it just means go out there and get your own equipment. We've preached this before. Get your own equipment. If you rent it, you're probably not going to have all this extra stuff. You're going to rent your basic gear. You're going to rent your tank, your weights, your BC, your regulator, and your submersible pressure gauge, and your either a computer or just a depth gauge. And you're probably not going to have dive knife and shears or signal sausage or any of that stuff. So I can't stress enough that you go out and get your gear. Now, in that vein, you should be frugal where you can be, because I ran across this week some of the top travel gear, and I just nearly fell out of my chair when I saw one of the recommended regulators, and I thought it was a typo at first.
Oh, is that?
It is.
Oh my gosh!
I saw an advertisement for the Atomic Aquatics T2X. I'm thinking T2 is in the Terminator.
Right.
T2X regulator. Check this out. $1,599 for a regulator. I'm like, what? And so I quickly, thinking it was a typo, absolutely certain it was a typo, I went on Bing and I searched for it, and every website, $15.99, $15.99, $15.99. I was like, what?
I've had I've had the opportunity to actually see this firsthand at some
Troy's
dive
like,
shops.
what?
At some dive shops.
Yeah.
And it's just a regulator.
I know. Yes, if you were going to, Troy's like, why? This is very good in cold water too. So I guess if you're going to be diving in the Arctic, you want the absolute best one that you can get. But I've seen many, many Arctic capable regulators for much less than that.
Oh yeah.
Even $800 or $900, but $1,600 for a rig. You can get an entire rig. BC, tanks, weights, good regulator, computer. You can get all of that for $1,600.
Not even the Maris Abyss is that expensive.
Yeah, no kidding. I was like, what? Wow.
That is crazy. When I saw
that's crazy talk. What are you on, drugs?
When I was looking at just before the show, the post show, I was looking at the.
That would be pre-show.
Okay, the pre-show. I'm sorry. Yeah, that's right. The post show.
You did that last week.
That's right. We did. The pre-show. I was looking at the. What we're going to be talking about during the podcast, and when I saw that, I literally just jumped out of my seat too. I was like, "What? Are you kidding me? $1,500? You know, you can buy
that thing. Better include a little tube that feeds you some juice or something as your time it keeps your mouth from going dry.
You know, if you have
that
the
kind of
means,
money,
if you have the means and you want, you know, one of those things like you know, a fashion statement, because you can I got the aquatic, you know, T2X, you know, and everybody's going to know that you paid an arm and a leg
better morph into stuff like that.
Yeah. To me, it's just a showpiece. I mean, I'm sure it's an excellent regulator. Atomic makes awesome stuff. I mean, their fins are expensive.
Yeah. Apparently, all of their stuff is expensive.
Yeah, but
like crazy.
Wow,
crazy.
You can buy a whole set of gear for that.
Absolutely, you can get rigged up big time and roast some good stuff too. Yeah. That just amazed me. Okay, so yeah, if you got crazy, you know, I would expect somebody who has one of these. I would expect if I was on a dive trip and I'm out on the boat with a bunch of divers, I would almost expect somebody who has one of these to strategically set his gear on the bench or something where everybody can look at it. Oh, is that the new T2X? You know, how people will kind of set things down where everybody can look at it. You know, nonchalant. I'll just couch this just the right where people can see it. That's what I would expect.
I'd have them sign a piece of paper. Just get a signature. Hey, can I have your signature?
Yeah, really. You have a T2X. Can I get your signature?
Can I get your signature?
Send it to Robbie.
What's it for? Well, don't worry.
Really?
But I'm just calling dibs in case you don't make it back. I'm taking
everything. Yeah, I got that. That's right. That's right. Okay, so we touched on this a few podcasts ago. PADI put out a new website, a new social networking website called ScubaEarth. So we're kind of doing ScubaEarth revisited.
It's called PadFace. Padbook.
No, they should call it MaskFace. For those who don't know what MaskFace is, it's when you have the mask too tight, you've got the straps on your mask too tight, or you've not been equalizing the pressure in the mask frequently, and so the pressure pushes and you get this nice, really interesting line around your face.
It's happened to me.
It does to every diver at some point. But anyway, so when we last talked about it, it was still in kind of a beta, and it was kind of only dive professionals could access it. And then they have since opened it wide up to everybody can get into it. And it was interesting on LinkedIn. I'm a member of a number of groups, not the least of which, of course, PADI and scuba divers and, you know, all sorts of stuff like that. And I've been kind of involved in a ongoing discussion with different folks on this. And let me see if I can pull this up. Here we go. And generally, you know, somebody was asking, what are your thoughts on the ScubaEarth social media site? And basically, you know, I was like, well, is anybody actually using it? Because I didn't see anybody on there. I've got no contacts or friends on there. I mean, most of these people are not impressed, not pleased with it. I mean, they're just slamming it left and right, basically. And, you know, people have commented on it and sent messages to PADI. And, of course, generally the consensus seems to be this is just another money-making avenue for
PADI.
For PADI, which, you know, I'm certified as an instructor through PADI, and they've done nothing but right by me. But I do know the various jokes that go on. Some people call PADI put another $1 in.
Yeah.
Because they charge for everything.
They charge for everything.
And so a number of people have commented on how useful is this. And I have to admit, another social networking site that really doesn't give you anything unique to offer that you can't already set up elsewhere. LinkedIn with these groups have Scuba Board, which is probably one of the oldest networking and marketing sites, if you will, that's out there. That's what I see most people using is either Facebook or, if you're a diver, Scuba Board. Yeah, those are the most frequently used. And so, while this doesn't cost me anything, and I've joined it, I've got I'm in here. You see, there's just nothing. I mean, it's yay, it's exciting. There's really nothing to it, and of course, it is like anything else. It's what you make of it. But it's like Google Plus. I'm a member of Google Plus. I have maybe 4 contacts, 5 contacts, whatever. I never use it because everybody that I really keep in a lot of contact with, Facebook.
Well, you can remember last time Troy was on, I was talking to him about his cousin Powder. He's on Google Plus. You can friend him and increase your numbers to 5. That's got to evoke
a comment from Troy. Yeah. His cousin Powder.
Powder.
As opposed to cousin Patty. You don't have a cousin Patty.
Powder.
Powder.
Yeah, it's powder.
Nice. So, yeah, I mean, I just don't know a lot of people that use. There seems to be the cause celeb. Celebrities use it because it's the new thing. Troy says he's that crazy Linux guy.
The crazy Linux that we talked about last time.
Yeah, that crazy Linux guy.
Yeah,
that's okay. There's room for everybody out there.
Yeah, you would probably see most of those users probably have the legend regulator or the atomic
aquatics.
Yeah, because those are reserved for the the prestigious.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, I was hoping to get a dive in today. I mean, we just had so many things going on. We had this women's conference going on this weekend. Billy Hunt from Houston, awesome woman of God. She really teaches some good stuff, and so she's here doing the women's conference and of course, I lead praise and worship at our church, so that's cause I have to be there for everything. So we had our morning sessions today, and then I was helping the girl who's doing the musical direction for the upcoming Upstagers musical, which is basically a musical review of Rodgers and Hammerstein. I'm not a fan of, other than Sound of Music. I'm not a fan of the Rodgers and Hammerstein music. I'm more like the Cole Porter or
Frank.
Huh?
Frank Sinatra.
Well, he didn't really, other than he was in a movie version of Guys and Dolls. He was not really theater, but as far as traditional theater, I lean more towards the Cole Porter stuff. But so anyway, she was recording the piano pieces because she can sight read like a demon. I mean, that you just put it in front of her, she's just flying all over this. So I switched into music recording studio mode and was recording her pieces because I'll be layering in the strings and drums and bass and all that other stuff on top of it. And so I was expecting that to take a much bigger chunk of the day, and we actually finished up what she was prepared to record. Finished that up early. And so there's a guy out the base who I've been trying to get in a dive with because he's a pilot. So, they have the 24-hour fly after dive rule. So basically they can't dive on Sunday. So they could do like a Friday evening or Saturday. And actually Saturday afternoon this afternoon turned out pretty decent. This morning was meh. But this afternoon actually turned out pretty decent. And so I was really hoping to get a dive in. So we were kind of exchanging messages across the dive club Facebook page, and but unfortunately he was out taking care of stuff. He had sent the message earlier, and then I saw that. I was like, hey, it looks like I'm going to be able to dive. And so then he messaged back, and basically we kept kind of going back and forth trying to get a time, but he couldn't finish up what he was doing before. I said, okay, if it's later than this, I can't do it because I wouldn't have enough time to be back here to do the pre-show prep.
Yeah.
So So that was a bust. I mean, man, this afternoon would have been awesome. It was very calm, no wind, about 71, 72 degrees. I was all set.
It was nice.
I was all set to hook the trailer up and head out there. I've got all the cold water gear set up and everything ready to roll. And of course, you can't go yet because you're still waiting for the.
Yeah, I'm stitched
right
now.
The stitches. You're stitched. I'm in stitches.
I'm stitched right now.
Yeah. So, but you said earlier pre-show that you're looking to drop those pretty quick.
Yeah, here in this upcoming week. Nice. I can't wait to get them out. They're itchy and they're horrible.
Hate that. I've only had stitches a couple times in my life. One in the corner of my mouth, which I was in 3rd or 4th grade, I think I was, and I was in the classroom roughhousing with some kids, and one of them pushed me, and I slipped and caught the side of my corner of my mouth on the edge of the classroom's fish tank.
See that you were horse playing. That's cool.
That's it. I was doing what I shouldn't have been doing,
and you slipped. See, that's typical. That's a typical compliment of somebody who was bullied.
Yeah. And well, in this case, I wasn't bullied. We were just goofing off.
Yeah,
and I was given as good as I got. I mean, it wasn't like we were fighting or anything, but it was just one of those wrestling, kind of chasing around the little desks, which were the old style. And they had the really small desks that had the metal bottom where you could slide your books, but the chairs were the little, really, really painful plastic ones
they're still around. Well,
so I tripped over one of those as I was trying to get around after him, and did it was like that slow motion. The corner of my mouth hit right on the corner of that thing, so it was like blood in the tank.
Every now and then I'll be walking around and through the high school, and I'll walk into the bathrooms because that's one of the things that we need to do.
What, go to the bathroom?
Well, check the bathrooms because there's a lot of stuff that goes on in the bathrooms. Yep. And I'll see somebody, at the sink, rinsing out, and I'll see blood all over the place. So what happened to you? Oh, I slipped and fell.
Slipped and fell, yes. Likely story. Yep.
I mean, no, really, what happened? Well, something happened. I'm like, do you want to do anything about it? No, I'm good. I was like, all right, I'm just asking.
Because 8 of his friends will come out after him if they snitch, right? Yeah.
Shoot, I don't think those are friends. Somebody will come back for him. Trust me. But we get that a lot.
Yeah. So I ended up with I think 4 stitches, and it was weird because I felt like a cat because he didn't trim too much of the edges off. So I had the stitches right there, and you just see like these
little whiskers
out there, and I was always playing, you can't stop messing with it.
Well,
and it would itch really bad as it was healing. So I totally get that.
Well, that's the thing right now. It's healing, but he left some of the stitches sticking out like those little whiskers.
Yep.
And
so and when you're wearing pants, it kind of turns in.
Yeah.
Like, scratch,
I have a Band-Aid. I do, since it's right on the hip area.
Are you stuck on Band-Aid?
I'm stuck on Band-Aid right now.
Because Band-Aids are stuck on you.
Yeah, and trust me, these are stuck more on like the hair on my hip.
Ouch, I hate that. Rip.
Well, so anyway, he left some of them out, but they're pretty good because I have a Band-Aid on. But when I'll make a certain turn or a certain move, they kind of like stick into my skin, and it's like, ouch.
Claws. Yeah, I hate that. I hate it when that happens. When you slide down the edge of a razor blade and you land in a vat of alcohol?
Yeah.
I hate it when that happens.
Oh, yeah, it hurts. It hurts. It burns.
It blains. So speaking of PADI, not powder, but speaking of PADI, they have a number of, for those who are interested, they do have a number of what they call PADI Society events scheduled for. This is not exhaustive. These are just the big highlights that are really popular for them. And I've been actually dying to go to one of these, the submersion. But they have, oh, good grief, whiny dogs. They got their Ocean Safari coming up 16 through 23 February. It's in Roatan, Honduras. Tara and I have been to Utila. And as it turned out, let me get Graze up here. As it turns out, we probably should have gone to Roatan. Because everybody was talking about how great the diving was there, and the diving wasn't all that great in Utila.
Wasn't it during the time where it had just rain or there was something going on?
Well, a month before they had a lot of rain that kind of dropped the visibility a little bit. And it really wasn't even that the visibility was horrible. It was just that the variety of coral and fish there couldn't touch Cozumel, which was the most frequent place that we've been. It just couldn't touch Cozumel. So it was kind of disappointing when then everybody, we're flying back, but you have to hop to Roatan before you head to the States. And everybody was talking about how great it was. It's their favorite place to go, blah, blah, blah. I'm like, okay, we should have gone to Roatan. So, but don't get me wrong. Staying at the Utopia Village in Roatan is an awesome experience. It is one of the best places that I personally feel that we've ever stayed. It was just fantastic, but it's just that the diving. And, of course, we were hoping to dive, meet up with some whale sharks. Yeah. What we did get to do was jump in with a pod of dolphin. That was pretty cool.
Yeah.
But so anyway, PADI Diving Society's Ocean Safaris in Roatan, Honduras, experienced one of the unique aquatic ecosystems of Central America. So that's coming up in February, and then they've got their Total Submersion, which is a extremely popular event. They've had it in a number of places, but I think Cozumel is one of the more frequent places that they hold this. So, and they usually have like different prizes, and it's just a big party with lots of divers and lots of opportunity to win stuff. And I've always kind of wanted to go to one of those, but so the date and other details are forthcoming. And then they're going to have various sea camp events. We don't have kids, so that's not our big thing, but they are definitely kid-oriented, and so they have a number of locations that they will have these. I mean, literally all over the world. Bonaire, Galapagos, Grand Cayman. We want to go back there. That was Tara's first saltwater dive experience, was Grand Cayman. And it is awesome. Palau, and of course Utila. Hated it. No, I didn't hate it, but it just wasn't best. So
Isn't it's a good. That where those the sand crabs were biting everybody?
Sand crabs? No, I know what you're thinking of. Those were sand fleas, and that was Richard Urban who kept getting attacked by those. And I think Tara said she got.
You were like laying in the beach and nothing happened.
Nothing, man. I don't know if it's because I don't wear the right cologne or don't wear deodorant on vacation or what. I don't know, but I did not get bothered by anything. Insects stayed away from me.
Wow.
But I think Tara got bit quite a bit. Richard just looked like he was Spot. I mean, he had welts all over the place. He was like, I don't care for this. But the food was great. They had literally a 5-star chef working there, man. I mean, just this young guy, but man, the stuff he produced, it was great looking and tasted awesome. It's absolutely hands down the best food I've eaten anywhere. Wow. It was great. And the accommodations were gorgeous. Maybe next week or another podcast I'll bring up some pictures. I'll put some pictures up there. So if you're interested in doing the Utila thing, and it may be that there's better diving opportunities now, but because obviously coral grows more, and it's been several years since we've been there. But and we always get emails from the folks there, but at least you can get an idea what it looks like for those who might be interested in going to Utila. So those are just some of the PADI events that are going on, and then I was kind of cruising around looking at other scuba related things. I ran across a program that is evidently, it's a syndicated program called Aqua Kids. Now, from what I can tell, looking at the website, there's a large part of the bleeding, hearts, tree hugger in there, but yeah, or I guess coral hugger in this case. There coral hugger. But it is kind of neat, and they have a good website, and actually they're syndicated, and they're actually on KCWX in San Antonio on 8:30 on Saturday. So it's like a Saturday morning show, and I actually have their website up that I guess they do their little see if I can refresh the page. I hate it when websites do this little stupid stuff. I'm like, I want to kill it. I can't make it stop. It just keeps going. I was like, come on, that's ridiculous.
Okay, maybe they are ocean huggers there.
Yeah, exactly. You can't even catch the fish. But let's see if I can get this to refresh here.
So, ready to make a difference? Building a better planet starts with you.
Oh, yeah.
Catchy tune. Next on our Top 40, the latest hit from the Aqua Kids.
Roll it.
But it involves kids scuba diving and, of course, getting involved in marine preservation. But it's a pretty interesting site and program. So it's largely unscripted when they actually do it, and then it's, of course, edited afterward to put the shows together. They just have a basic idea. But they've won some Telly and Emmy Awards, etc. So pretty cool. So if you are... and by the way, the website, if you're interested in checking out, aquakids.tv, check it out. So if you have kids that are scuba divers or maybe interested in getting involved in scuba diving, shows like this are pretty good, and go to their website and see some of the stuff. I like to promote just about anything that's going to promote the activity of scuba diving.
Yeah.
Because there's a lot of course, as a recreational diver, that's the main reason why we do that. Mm-hmm. But you obviously have the opportunity to get involved in a number of actual vocations that are involved in that. And that reminds me, speaking of vocations, do you have any idea when the next little job show or whatever it is that the school was putting together?
Yeah, the career fair day.
Career fair day. Yeah.
I don't know yet.
We always seem to have fun with that. I would love to get involved with that again.
I'm not really sure. The program director that was in charge of the CTE for the high school, the Career and Technical Education program, has left. She left at the beginning of the school year, and is now, I believe, running the...
Homeless in San Antonio.
Yeah, lives in San Antonio. Not homeless, but lives in San Antonio.
Okay.
She sold her house here before she beat feet, which was,
right.
later.
Yeah.
But I'm not really sure. I have not heard anything yet, but I'm sure that it's going to be in the process because it's something that's... It is a requirement for the program, so, to get businesses involved and things like that. And it's a big thing.
Yeah.
It's
it gets a lot of people out.
Yeah. They God, everybody comes out. Mostly it's the law enforcement people come out with their cars and their fire trucks and the first responders people.
And if we have enough heads up, we can, we put together a pretty decent setup. We have the display because, I got the mannequin and we can put the gear on and give people a chance to kind of put the BC on and kind of feel what it's like. And,
we did it how many years in a row?
We've done it three. We've done it three.
Yeah, and we get a lot of kids to come and a lot of parents and stuff like that. But and that's great because we're just pretty much telling them some of the careers that they can do with scuba diving. You have marine biologists.
Yep.
You have different things.
Yep.
Obviously, that involves school, but you got to be certified in diving to do it.
Exactly.
So it's pretty neat. But I will get that information so we can let you all know.
That'll be lots of fun.
It will.
Yep. So we're winding down here. Just want to hit a little bit of the...
That reminds me, remember when we saw the Baron there?
Oh, yes, that's right. That is right.
The Baron. That, folks, for those of you at home, that's an inside joke. I'm sorry I can't let you in on that one, but we chuckle on that one all the time.
We do. Well, just a little bit of tech news going on, although you kind of hinted at one, which was really kind of surprising. Didn't have it in the notes here, but since you brought it up, Apple, which has been of recent years the most profitable company in the world, finally got bested by not a lot, but got bested by Exxon.
Yeah, they're back on top again.
Yeah. Interestingly, Apple has been seeing its stock dramatically decline, which to say it's dramatically declined still means that they're making money hand over fist. It's not like they're in any danger of collapsing. You know,
you look
like I'm a bazillionaire and I'm only a gazillionaire. You know, it's like what's
and let me just to put this into perspective. I mean, good stock in a company will run you anywhere between $15 to $30 a share. That's one share of stock.
Yeah.
Okay, and a lot of people think, okay, well that's kind of expensive.
Yeah.
One share of Apple stock is about $430, and that's one share. So now that's expensive. But they're not wearing the $500 or $600 range where they were just
they actually made it to $780 something at one point.
Yeah, so that shot them up most valuable, one of the most valuable companies in the world. They're slowly going down. I've been following this a lot. But then again, there's a lot of stipulation as far as
where they're going to go with it,
right? Because a lot of companies right now are not seeing profits where they were, expecting especially in the tech field. Microsoft is taking a hit.
Actually, did you see the latest report? Actually, Microsoft had record earnings this time, and interestingly, this is what shocked me is. What the reports say is Microsoft Office is normally their biggest moneymaker. Not this time. It's Windows. I'm like, what? Well, Windows is their biggest moneymaker this time.
But from what I read, they saw a profit, but it wasn't. I guess it was still below their expectations.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Yeah. But it was still record for them. So it's just weird. This has just been one of those, and it's shaping up for 2013 to be the weirdest tech year.
Mm-hmm.
We're going to see things coming out of the woodwork. I mean, we're seeing companies doing stuff that they've not done before.
Mm-hmm.
People coming out of the woodwork going, hey, guess what? We got this thing. And everybody's going, oh, really? Interestingly, things like 3D have all but disappeared as far as a big push. And now it's other things that are taking the place. It's just weird.
But it's, I don't know. I guess they anticipated these huge sales during the holiday season. It didn't happen.
Yeah.
Everybody's now looking at for the Apple. From what I read, is they were hoping that their iPad line of devices was going to sell a lot, but they got beat out with like some of the Android devices that were less expensive.
Yeah, so that is the key right now.
Why buy one device when I can buy three? I got 3 kids. They're going to be fighting over this one, so I'll just buy 3 of them.
Exactly.
So that's just what happened, unfortunately.
Yeah.
But like Rob says, they are far from being.
Yeah, they're far from floundering. But what it's signaling to the talking heads out there is that
it's over.
No, they're not saying that, but they are saying that it's lost its edge because they've just basically put new dressing on the oldest OS, and the oldest hardware design. The iPad Mini is just an iPad Mini.
Yeah, it's just smaller.
Leo Laporte commented, and I think he's probably pretty accurate on this. He said, if Apple produces an iPad Mini with a Retina display and the phone built in, that'll be it. That'll be the cap right there, because everybody will get one of those.
Yeah.
Because where the people used to be freaked out by the really large phones. Everybody was like, when Dell came out with that Streak, I think it was, that was like this monster. Like, you're going to put that up to your ear? Well, now people have got the Note, the Note 2, and they're holding these big honking, almost 6-inch things up to their ear. And they're not really, that has lost its scariness now. Yeah. So it won't be a big thing to jump to a 7-inch phone.
And if you follow the trend, it started with the bag phone, and then it started with the actual Motorola brick phone.
Yep, had one of those.
The square ones.
I used to use one of those.
With the antenna, it stood about this tall, actually.
Yep.
And then slowly they started getting smaller.
Yeah.
And then smaller. And then
so you had the little tiny
flip phone.
Yeah.
And those were like the thing.
Yep.
And then now they're starting to get bigger again.
Yep.
So it's kind of funny.
Well, people want that. People want that real estate. They want something that they can read. I mean, our senior pastor's wife, she went from an iPhone to the Galaxy Note and loves it, and because she can see everything, she's like, the critical thing for her was being able to see everything. So, but it still functions as a phone. So that screen real estate is really good. Interestingly, the reason why Apple went with the particular shape of the iPhone 5 by making it longer, which became a joke amongst a number of people in the industry, their reasoning behind that was because of one-handed operation.
Yeah,
they felt that people would more likely want to hold their. Gotta get my camera angle there. Be able to stretch across to touch everything. But with the Lumia 920, it's a 4.7 screen and it's just large, or 4.5, and it's just large enough that I really have to hold it the right way to reach all the way across one-handed. Whereas the iPhone 5, you don't have to do that. But apparently that's becoming less of a concern for people now. So now they're kind of lagging the where the desires are of the customer. So Leo Laporte, I think, has got it right. If they quickly come out with the iPad Mini with the phone built in and the Retina display, because that was another thing that was disappointing to people. Not Retina display. Yeah. I think that will be the icing on the cake for them. But others are saying, you know what? They've got the oldest OS. They need to shake it up. They need to do something to shake it up like Microsoft did. For better or worse, Microsoft decided to throw the old meme out and start over. And with Android, you got to admit, for better or worse, whether you like it or not, they're so open and customizable that you can make it look any way that you really want.
Yeah.
Whereas you have more flexibility than iOS with the Windows Phone, but you don't have nearly the flexibility that you do with the Android. So you kind of get the graduating degrees of flexibility. So a number of the analysts are saying Apple needs to look at doing something to modernize their interface. I have no idea what that would look like.
Well, I'm kind of curious to see what's going to happen. The CEO of Apple, Tim Cook, has actually released a statement saying that all of their engineers and project developers and everybody there at Apple is focused on the future of the company, obviously, and he is saying that they're pulling out. They're going to try to pull out all the stops to get something out there that's going to be, like you said, different. Yeah. With the way the competition is right now, obviously you got no choice. You're going to have to pull out all of it.
Interestingly, how a year changed things. A year ago, it was all about the hardware. Mm-hmm. And now there's hardware parity for all intents and purposes. You can get pretty much whatever hardware combination you want on any platform. And interestingly, you have the least flexible or the least variation on the iPhone, but ultimately, as far as multi-core processors, really good GPUs, excellent displays, memory, storage, all that stuff, it's pretty much hardware parity
everywhere.
Now the shift is going to be on operating system and services. I think that's where we're going to see interesting battles. How is each one going to implement, really extend the cloud? What are they going to do with the OS to make your world, your life easier?
And my wife's brother-in-law bought his contract was up with T-Mobile, and he went to AT&T because he works out of town, and where he works, they don't have a tower out there. Yeah. So he had to switch to AT&T, and all of a sudden he shows up with the iPhone 5. Yeah. And he's asking me all these questions.
Well, they have the iPhone on T-Mobile, right?
No.
I could swear that I saw.
No, they don't. Not yet. Oh. It's pretty much everywhere else except T-Mobile. But the thing is that he works somewhere out there by Carrizo Springs out there. Yeah, and
been out there many times.
Yeah, he's out there in the sticks. Well, he has to borrow a phone because the T-Mobile won't pick up a tower over there, but AT&T does because we're all over the place. Yeah. But he showed up with the iPhone 5 and he starts asking me all these questions, and I'm like, you can't do that. You see, he had an Android phone before.
Oh, so he was used to all that flexibility.
Yeah, he was used to like changing icons and the way everything looks and all this. And I told him, you can't do that with that phone. You know, well, where do I download, you know, free music? I go, you can't. You know, you just can't. Well, how can I have a song on here? And then he would come back and say, okay, well, I got my iTunes set up and everything. Okay, now how can I make this song into my ringtone? I go, you have to download a ringtone maker. He goes, you mean I just can't set it as ring? I go, this is an Android.
Right.
I know what you're talking about, and trust me, you can't do that. So last I heard that he was going to take the phone back,
get an Android,
and he wants a Galaxy S3.
Yeah.
Because he's just it's a really good phone, but he's used to that custom, you know, the customs.
I mean, and you know, with Windows Phone, it's the same kind of deal. You have to have a ringtone maker.
Yeah.
I mean, all it's really doing. I mean, you can do it on your computer because all it really is it just shrinks. You just have to take a section.
Yeah.
It's like can be 39 seconds long.
Right.
That's it. You can't just make a whole song your ringtone.
But
so you know, there's advantages and disadvantages. Which
you know, it's like, and you even actually you commented on that on Facebook. You know, there's certain things that are going out there that are for this open source operating system that's out there for Android.
Yeah.
There's there's
they
malware.
Android is the darling of hackers now.
You know, so but for the platform that I use, Apple and Rob with his Windows, that's not going to happen. We don't worry about that.
So there's advantages to having a closed or semi-closed system. It's harder to hack them. Now, if they ever kick this to fully over to be Windows 8 or 9 or whatever, if they make these towards eventually the tablet and desktop operating system, then all bets are off for that. I think that they'll just be open for to be hit with viruses, just like all Windows can. So, but speaking of those devices, AT&T is going to start rolling. I guess they're kind of back to being the darling, the premier partner as far as a carrier. They're going to be rolling the first of the Windows Phone 7.8 updates. So if you still have an older first or second generation device, which is running the Windows 7.5.
With a broken screen.
Yeah, Troy. Yeah, Troy. The word was originally, the rumor was that it was going to, the first, it was going to roll worldwide. And of course, to say that, it would be a staged roll because they don't just blast it out there. But then there were rumors 31st, and then AT&T basically came out and said they're going to start kicking off for the Lumias. They're going to kick it off on 30 Jan, and then the other phones their other Windows phones that they carry will follow shortly thereafter. So, I've still got my 900. I keep it up to date because I'm also beta testing the Pocket Bible software by Laridian, which I used on my Windows mobile device, and I loved it. And then, of course, I went to Windows Phone, and they were only making a first they made an iPhone version. Well, they always had the desktop version, which was great, but then they made an iPhone version, then they made an Android version, and they weren't saying what they were going to do, if anything, with Windows Phone. Well, then I get this email saying, well, we're working on, we've come out of alpha, we want some beta testers for the Windows Phone version. And so they've been just rocketing through the updates as anybody runs into, and I've been testing on both my Windows Phone 8 device and my Windows Phone 7 device, so I can give them really good feedback on it's smooth on one platform versus the other, or I run into this error on the Windows Phone 8, but not on the Windows Phone 7. So, and then all these other people been commenting, and they've just been kicking updates, and it's real. I really like the. So if you're looking for a electronic Bible, since the oldest one that they have, the most mature one they have is on the iPhone, you might want to check it out. It's pretty cool.
Yeah, well, I looked it up last week.
Oh, you did?
Yeah, remember?
Good.
Yeah. And I was like, is this it? And you're like, yep, that's it.
Okay, that's right. The neat thing is, the app itself is free, and a lot of the translations are free, but you can buy other ones. My favorite is the Complete Jewish Bible. Wow. Love it. But so I've been just really excited that I finally have the Windows Phone. I got to use it today at church, which was great. It's just, man, I really like it. It's very colorful. And they've actually, as I understand it, I've not seen the iPhone version, but the way they were describing it is they're making it operate similarly to the way they have it working on the iPhone. So I'd be curious if you ever install it on yours. I'd be curious to see how it looks on there. So you kind of compare how they implemented the features across platforms, because I always find that interesting. So anyway, that's rolling 30 January, the update 7.8 update, which gives you the additional, among other things, it gives you the more customization with the live tiles, etc. And then
groovy.
Yes, groovy, man. And then Microsoft Surface Pro, 9 February, 64 gig version is going to be starting at $8.99.
$8.99, and it'll run for about 5 minutes.
Yeah, well, actually 5 hours is what they're saying. I think I'll want to see it. I'll definitely want to see it, but I think I'll probably be holding off for the Surface Pro 2 or whatever that. Or I'm open to, again, Nokia looks like they're coming out with something. If they come out with something using the new one of the new processors.
Did you ever see that tweet that I did about the Motorola one? That they're coming out with one?
Oh yeah.
That one, it looked pretty sweet. The only thing is I didn't see the ports that you want, like the USB ports on it.
Yeah, got to have USB 3 on it.
Yeah, but it will be running the full version, the Pro version of 8. So I don't know how you would put, legacy apps or.
Well, the Pro version, you can put legacy apps.
Yeah, well, but what I mean is, like, it doesn't have for you to be able to, I guess, transfer data, or you would have to connect it to a computer. You won't be able to just walk around with it and put a USB drive in it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, if it's not going to have USB ports.
Yeah,
it's got to have some sort of connector.
It'll have a connector, but I wonder, like, for example, like it's got the.
I'm sure it's got to have like a SD or micro SD on it, so you could install stuff that way.
Okay, yeah, I know, but the one that I saw, the Motorola, I saw it completely around from the picture, and there's no.
What is the title of that silly thing? I need to get off that webpage anyway. What is that? What was the model of that thing?
Gosh, I don't remember. I know it was made by Motorola. It was the Motorola tablet.
Oh no, the dogs are getting excited because they're all going to start barking and singing. And they bumped the camera. Thanks. You want to get down too, little buddy?
Whoa.
Yeah, I don't want to hang the dog. All right, let's see. Microsoft, Motorola, Android tablet, Dell tablet. News about solutions. Is this it? This says for industrial use. Motorola solution plans Windows 8 tablet for industrial use. This isn't the one you were talking about, is it?
No, I can't remember, but I'll try to find it. But the pictures that I saw from the website that I was looking at, it does like a 3-dimensional of the whole device, and it didn't have any ports. It didn't even have a micro USB port. So I don't know.
Why would they not have pictures? Unless it truly is just a plan. It's all a nefarious plan.
That's all it is. It's like the Star Wars program.
Exactly. Let's see. See if there's any of these. Nope, just people having comments, but no pictures.
All right, let me dabble in here. Let me
see if you can find your tweet where you said it.
Yeah, because I always tend to mess up my tweets. I don't know how to tweet, according to Rob.
Yeah. Well, you keep forgetting to retweet with a quote type of thing, so that anybody else who happens to be following the tweets, when you answer a question, we don't know what the question was.
Oh, yeah.
When you tweet yes.
You guys are supposed to be able to read my mind, you and Troy.
Well, I do this with the anticipation that other people will be catching what we're talking. Well, because I get retweeted a lot. Come here.
Troy, you guys are supposed to know what I'm tweeting.
We know, but not everybody knows. Although sometimes if you're responding to him and he'll do the quote tweet, and I hear what he's saying, or I see what he's responding to. But yeah, if you find that, I'd be interested to see pictures of that.
I'm looking.
Motorola Windows 8 tablet.
Gosh, I can't find it, but I'll definitely find it somewhere.
Is this it? Switch to images. And maybe a picture will stand out to you.
You know, they kind of all look alike.
Pretty much all tablets do look alike.
Yeah. You've seen one live tile, you've seen them all.
See, I wouldn't be surprised, actually, if Motorola's Windows 8 tablet wasn't a rebranded Android. I wouldn't be surprised, because that's what basically everybody was doing for a while. Oh, well, maybe we can look that up for next week.
That'd be okay. Let's just take a picture and move on.
That's right. Take a picture and move on. Yeah, so we got the Pro is going to be released on the 9th. If I get an opportunity, I definitely want to take a look at that. But with only 5 hours of expected battery life, it ain't going to replace my notebook anytime soon. So, but I do want something that will replace it, but it'll need to have the features that has, but with
longer battery.
I'd settle for 8 hours. But I'd really like it to be closer to the 10. So a number of players are finally starting to roll with theirs, but I think these new processors that are out or coming out will make the difference, because they're so much lower power, but still have the horses to really rock the Windows 8 operating system. So I think that's pretty much it for, at first, real quick, I was like, why are they not in any version of this coming out with one that has cell capability? Evidently, most of the analysis across the board, even Apple has seen this, most people do not buy tablets with cell capability. The overwhelming majority, even of the iPads that had cell, or the tablets that had cell, they weren't even activating that.
Yeah.
I'm like, wow. So I guess telemetry shows that, if you can tether, why not tether? Which I do. I tether my, that's how I use up most of my data plans. I have it tethered to I have my laptop tethered to it. So that seems to be where people are using it. They just use Wi-Fi if it's available, which is becoming more and more available everywhere.
Right.
So, well, let's hit our administrivia real quick. So, our next Dive Club meeting, 21st of February, as I set Ronan down for another jaunt outside to yell at the neighbors. At Rudy's Restaurant, 7 p.m. And, again, our Balmoral State Park trips are May 17th through 19th. June 14th through 16th, July 19th through the 21st, and August 16th through the 18th. And as we pulled together our plans to maybe do the Valhalla trip, which is the flooded ICBM missile silo. We'll post that up there too, because I think that's going to be exciting. But that's definitely not for everybody.
No,
you need cold water gear to do this, even in the middle of summer.
Yeah, and I personally would like to see if we could do that probably in midsummer.
Yeah.
Because from what I've read, it's cold.
Yeah.
So I'd like to get out of that missile silo and go thaw
into
out
the heat.
Into the heat, you know.
Yeah,
what I mean?
and it's basically night dive, because other than
dark.
the lights that they do turn on in there, it's dark.
Yes.
Because it is underground. So we'll definitely be looking forward to that. And if we've got to do a Gulf Coast trip. We've got to do one. Got to do it. So we'll as we work that together, we'll post that as well. So I don't have anything else for this week. How about you?
Nope.
Anything coming up next week that you're aware of?
Not that I'm aware of, but we made some announcements. So we'll try to get the information that we talked about earlier.
Absolutely.
To share with you all for next week. Yeah. And that's about it.
We're going to be helping with. So there's a couple that are members of our church who actually run a orphanage across in Acuna, Mexico. And for the entire time they've been married, they've basically been living in a room on the upper floor of this orphanage. So it means they get 0 me time or us time. So they finally they're renting a house. They finally got a very, very modest house here in Del Rio. And we normally have once a month, we have a men's breakfast. And we're going to make that a work day. So a bunch of us are going to be going over to this place and kind of helping renovate it, because it's just,
bare
it's
bones.
what it is. It's kind of run down, and of course the owner renting it to them is not going to do anything for the price that they're renting it out for. So we're getting a bunch of our able-bodied men together, and we're going to make a work day. So there's no telling what kind of condition I'm going to be in when we do the podcast next week. I may be totally exhausted, but we'll see what happens.
All right.
So, we thank you all for joining us. Let me do a quick check in the chat room, see if Troy had anything else. Nope. His last word was that crazy Linux guy. So it was good to have him in the chat room commenting and watching. And we do enjoy when we do hear from folks who've been watching the podcast, either live. We prefer live because we could interact with you. But also, when you watch it on YouTube and Vimeo, and for as long as we're allowed to do that, we'll see what happens with the various lawsuits going around now that may become an endangered species. Let's see.
Yep.
But until they pull the plug on us,
we'll be here.
We enjoy having you with us, and we will see you next week on another episode of Two Guys Who Dive.